Okay, so we are ready to, I'm just going to show you this. This is the fabric for the top row, and you can see the word top right here. I'm going to rotate the fabric. So the top of the fabric is over here on my right. So my fabric is now long and narrow. And I have the first stitch mark. Let me move my little hoop over here. I have the first stitch mark for hooping number 1 for the top row for a 6 by 12 hoop. So this is what the directions are going to tell you. This is my center crosshair, and it's going to tell you that the arrow on the grid, remember this is my first stitch, the arrow on the grid is going to point to, you go to your middle crosshair and go right up 8 inches to this crosshair. So this arrow is going to point to this crosshair. So I'm going to move it all the way up here. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that the line that I drew is directly under a grid line, because that makes it extremely easy for me to hoop it. I'm going to take the time, and if you have this specific mega hoop, it has 2 screws on it. I'm actually going to take the time to unscrew this. I don't want these to fall out, so I'm not unscrewing them as far as I can go. Actually, if you look down here, you can actually see how much more you can unscrew before you try to, before it comes out. But I want these to be really, really opened for me, because I like to just set my fabric in. So I'm going to move my fabric over this way and kind of hold it by either end. I'll move this over so you can see it, and I'm going to just kind of pop that in there, open it back up, and push it down to see where it is. Now I'm still dead on my vertical line right here, but I'm way off up here. So I'm just going to hold it with a tight hand down here, and I'm just going to gently move my fabric over and push it in. And pretty much that's perfect right there. Okay, so now I have this. I'm extremely close to my crosshair. I'm not dead on it, but I'm within 1/4 of an inch of it. So that's all you need to be. It's more important to get straight. So I'm going to hold my hoop down so that I have it, I don't let it come up. I'm going to actually scoot it off the table a second, because I need to tighten up both ends. And I'm going to tighten up one end about half of the way that I'm going to want to tighten it. Same thing on this side. I'm going to pull that off a little bit so that I can get my hands underneath it here to screw that in. And I'm going to tighten this one up about halfway. And then I'm going to rotate it one more time and come down and do this one and tighten this one up quite a bit more, but not all the way, because I want to do the final tightening up at this end. And that way my hoop is evenly tightened. And I will tighten this one up. There we go. And you want to make sure it's at least is really good and finger tight, really good, so it doesn't pop out during embroidery. I have it all done there. I'm going to remove my grid, because once you hoop it, you don't use your grid. A lot of people like to keep this on and go over to the machine and line it up. You need to remove the grid, because it's no longer about this arrow. It's about where is your crosshair. This just hoops you in the general vicinity of where you want to go. Now it's all about your needle needs to be over this crosshair. And remember, here's the center crosshair. So it's 8 inches above center is for the first hooping. All right, let's go line it up.